Hello friends, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to Dots of Destiny. The video is on the retrogression of Saturn and the second half of 2026. Now, as we have completed six months of 2026, which were as turbulent as they were, but obviously the second half of 2026 promises equal turbulency. Obviously, by now you have understood that we are not in the normal times with Jupiter Atichari and lot of other things happening. The planets are behaving in a very different way. And that is why I need to talk a little bit about, I have taken up the thing that how the second half of 2026 looks like. Now, retrogression of Saturn is one point, definitely. When I used to take my classes, still now also I'm learning, it's a learning process. Astrology is always about learning. But one of my favorite teachers used to tell me that he used to explain retrogression in this way, that when Saturn is direct, we do the karma that is designed for us. And then when Saturn goes retrograde, actually we go for the rectification or the storage karma that was left behind from the prarabdha. A part of it comes in its own due course with Rahu Ketu axis and the other dasha and antardasha, whatever is running. At that time we rectify those. New karma can be created, but first we have to rectify those. That is why a person having natal retrograde planets like especially Saturn, Jupiter, which remains retrograde for a very long period of time, has a lot of pending karma. And that is why the achievement of those people who have Saturn retrograde, Jupiter retrograde together, these kind of retrogradations, the life of those persons are not very fast forward. They have to try again and again, as they have to deal with their unfinished karma also at the same time. Now, over here, we always see, as July month is here, the first day of July today, Saturn will go retrograde by the end of the month. Now, this whole July month, the movement of Saturn will be very slow, because it becomes stationary. Though all this is an optical illusion, because the other planets are running forward fast, it seems that this planet is moving backward. But before moving backward, excuse me, it stops. Then it starts its movement backward. So, July month, very slow movement of Saturn. August, September, October, November, Saturn is retrograde. December month, again, it goes stationary first, then it starts moving forward. That month also, the movement of Saturn is very slow. That means from July to December, it is a very slow Saturn that we see. Most of the year it is like this only. Whichever 4 months it is retrograde for at this 2026, August, September, October, November, but the before month and the after month also is not very high speed movement of Saturn. As it is, it's a slow planet. Now this year, what is happening with the retrogression of Saturn is that Mars and Venus, Jupiter is Atichari, and see one thing, Saturn goes direct 11th of December, Jupiter goes retrograde exactly nearly that same time. So they are not colliding with the retrogression. Now here's when Saturn is retrograde, Jupiter is having a 9th aspect on Saturn. If you take it that this aspect of Jupiter is making the cruel malefic graha Saturn softer, I mean, then it's okay. You can have that kind of optimism or feel good factor. What I see is that because the aspect of Jupiter is on the sign of Pisces, and ninth aspect of Jupiter is Dharma, because the ninth aspect, because the ninth sign is also Sagittarius. So here the double transit of Jupiter and Saturn, because Saturn is in Pisces and Jupiter aspecting with the ninth aspect on this Saturn, retrograde Saturn especially, as I'm talking about retrograde Saturn at this point of time, certain things will come to an end, and you will be doing the ending works so that the thing ends. Jupiter guides you towards that. Now, understanding that Pisces is the sign of endings and Aries is new beginnings, we are running the theme of Uttar Bhadrapada Saturn and Revati Saturn. Exactly next June, Saturn will go into Aries. Yes, it will go retrograde and come back, but that is just 4 months of Pisces. November 2027, December, January 2028, February. So do not pay too much of heed to that. Officially, more or less, Saturn will run into Aries from 2027 of June, 2nd of June. So these few months, this whole year of 2026, you will see, you will be closing down a lot of things, and the planets will make you do that. That is the ninth aspect of Jupiter on Saturn, because Jupiter will aid Saturn and give you the knowledge. That is the best part. If something has to end, there will be endings, and whether it's a job, relationship, anything, it can be anything, but these are major karmic endings with Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada, retrograde, and Revati also. Jupiter will give you the knowledge. At least you will not be in the darkness that why I am doing these things. That is the best thing. And it is the dharma of Jupiter, the ninth aspect of Jupiter, which is very good, very benevolent, and you should follow that path. Over here, other than these two planets, Mars and Venus is making lot of changes. Now see, Venus from August onwards will go into debilitation. Now also in July month, Venus is not in a great condition with Ketu and Venus combination in Leo. So, whichever houses Venus rules for you, they will go for some changes definitely. As the planet Venus is going into debilitation from August, then it will go to Libra, come back retrograde again, and then go forward, ending its transit in Libra. August, September, October, November, December. 5 months Venus will be in debilitation and then into Libra. Now please do not take as debilitation of Libra horrible and debilitation of Venus horrible and Libra is great. No, it's not like that. Depending upon where these things falls, there will also be some rectification, some correction, some relationship process, endings, beginnings, that is bound to happen, because these are the times. And Mars is having a very erratic transit. It's very unusual, if not erratic, that 10 months planet stays in Cancer and Leo. These are the luminary signs, and also Mars is crossing Gandanta again and again. So lot of things in this next 6 months and the coming next 6 months of the first 6 months of or 5 months of 2027, lot of things in particular areas of your life. Overall chart is vibrated. And as I was talking about Saturn retrograde, the retrogression of Saturn is a planetary movement, but exactly you will not do all the things regarding Aquarius and Capricorn. No, it's not like that. Wherever the karma needs to be look back and rectified and then movement forward, that will be done by Saturn's retrogression in this phenomena of Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati. So it's a very interesting, at the same time, from astrological perspective, it is very, very interesting. Another thing is that Rahu will move into Capricorn. Next year, Saturn will be aspecting this Rahu when Saturn runs in Aries with the 10th aspect. So Capricorn again is our knees. When Saturn came into Capricorn during COVID time, we were literally down to our knees. So these are special times, but they are not easy times. And see, don't mind me telling, if too much of optimism is there in you, it is good, not bad. But the planets are not behaving to keep up that optimism to its full length. I will say it in that way because I am myself a very positive, optimistic person. But when the planets make me see things, I cannot ignore the truth of it. And when 3 planets, suppose this year, November month, Ketu, Mars, Jupiter, makes a conjunction in Magha Nakshatra, in Leo, we know that the time is not easy. When Mars and Jupiter transits too much into Cancer, Leo, Gandanta, Aslesha, Magha, times are not easy. So the abnormal behavior of the planets, which is not the usual that you have seen for the past so many years, suddenly the planets, not only Jupiter Atichari, one Jupiter cannot make your life go haywire or cannot settle your life both ways. So all the planets are behaving in certain ways which is dethroning us from our comfortable position. Or even the dethroning of a king can happen at this moment of time, because Leo is all about that. And the Leo factor is becoming very, very prominent in the coming days, especially from October, November this year onwards. So I'll talk about each ascendant, but exactly not focusing all about the Saturn movement. It is an overall, what is this retrogression of Saturn telling you to focus in the areas, because big changes are happening, especially in the Venus and Mars axis, that is Aries, Libra and Scorpio, Taurus. So please jump into the timestamp. The Aries ascendants, Saturn is getting retrograde in your 12th house. Now this retrogression of Saturn, which is your 10th and 11th lord, Saturn is going backwards, and it is definitely bringing some new opportunities and gains for you. This retrogression is not bad actually. The thing is that in the midst of this retrogression, your Lagna Lord is performing in the 4th house and also in the 5th house most of the time, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Now understand one thing, because Jupiter is aspecting the retrograde Saturn with the 9th aspect in the 12th house, if you had been looking for some change in your professional area, because strictly for you Saturn is the 10th and 11th lord, it will give you that. That is the first thing. Now, because Mars will go into Gemini, now it is in Taurus, full July, then it will go into Gemini. During this retrograde Saturn, it will run into 4th house. Mars loses its Digbal in the 4th house, and for you Mars gets debilitated also over here. So the trend of the next 6 months will be like that. Mars will be in the 4th house but with Jupiter, and that is why, without getting first you will be confused in this retrograde Saturn, what is the decisions you need to take and what is the things you will be acting upon. But understand this Lagna Lord of Mars reaching into Cancer and getting Nicha with Nij Bhanga from Jupiter will give you the direction. And Jupiter's aspect on this retrograde Saturn is also very, very important. Because Jupiter is the 9th lord and sitting in the 4th house, there will be certain instances, many of you as per your dasha may have to leave your comfort zone and go out and venture. So this is the main theme for Aries people as Saturn is getting retrograde. obviously, as it is looking towards the backward, to the backward house of Aquarius, and Rahu is sitting over there, before Rahu enters into Capricorn in the month of December, with this retrograde Saturn's movement and Drishti on Aquarius and Rahu being there, some meaningful gains will happen for you, Aries people, which is good, which is again a good point. And not only gains, further, I should predict that as Mars will enter into Leo with Jupiter Ketu, Lagna Lord in the 5th house, you will learn certain skills, and also you will be, Mars will again go retrograde in the month of January as Saturn goes direct, and Rahu will come into Capricorn this year, December. You are in for quite a lot of hard work in the next year 2027. All the process that needs to be done will be part of this year last 6 months. And understanding that, Aries people, according to your dasha, good and bad, I do not feel it's a bad circumstance when you need to change. Change is inevitable. Nobody can sustain or thrive if you are living in a certain bandwidth. That's a very different scenario. Otherwise, the kind of times that we are now, you require to venture out. So this is the theme of it, that is beginning to start from this July onwards. Another thing is happening is that Aries people can also get hitched and marriaged. Marriage can happen because Venus will be in Leo now, then into debilitation, and then into Libra. Now see, there is a back and forth movement of Venus, which is your 2nd and 7th lord. 7th lord also puts you towards foreign destinations. 7th lord also takes you towards partnership. You have to think which way, what, judge it, and then take the decisions. Partnership can happen, whether it's business partnership, new business flourishing, new idea coming, because Ketu, Mars, Jupiter will be in Leo. Leo is a very creative sign, and also you can get married also by this year, because Rahu in the 11th and Jupiter also in the 4th house and Venus will coming to the 7th house, can give marriages also. So overall, the picture in the next 6 months, again this time I'm not going to say good or bad or better and best. Progressively it is taking you to a different zone. That is the retrogression of Saturn. Now whether the execution happens immediately in this 6 months or it takes to the next year, that depends on the dasha. But definitely there is a change that is brewing up, and a very big change actually, especially a change of place, a change of job, your groups, your networking, new source of business, new partnership, all these things in the next 6 months. For me, if you ask, it looks growth oriented, Aries people. I feel these kind of transits help a person to move towards the next chapter, because Saturn will be coming on the Lagna next year from June. So take care. Taurus ascendant, Saturn, your 10th and your 9th lord, is getting retrograde in the 11th house. Okay, this is also a good retrogression for Saturn, looking into the 10th house, and also having a retrograde Saturn having a drishti on the Lagna. Take care of your health. That is very important, because retrograde Saturn can bring up some issues which you had been neglecting. And also when Saturn is retrograde, Venus is transiting into Leo now, and then into Virgo, and then into Libra. So Libra is also your rogue Shatru. You can take a loan this year. You can apply for a loan. You can have certain enemies brewing up for whatever reason it can be. Your love matters, love life can be questionable, and it can make you work hard, or make you work in patience, or rectify your things, as retrograde Saturn is also aspecting this Virgo area where Venus will be coming. So Lagna Lord going for a retrogression this year, and the 10th Lord, big changes coming up for you, Taurus. One thing about Taurus is that, because see, till the day that Saturn is in the 11th house, whether retrograde or direct, it's good for you. You can change your job, you can look for a partnership, you can have fulfillment, you can go for marriage. Lot of things can happen, lot of things. Understand, because Jupiter is also in the 3rd house of fulfillment, and due to your changes, due to your upliftments, I mean, because Ketu is in the 4th house, it can it can take you to different city also. Now, one thing you have to understand is that this position of Saturn and Rahu, the kind of things it has given you. Now, many will write it down. I know that I didn't get anything, this, that, everything. But please understand, we are just talking about the transit, not the dasha. It is one of the best positions that you could have had. Once Saturn reaches the 12th house in Aries, your most Yogakaraka planet, and then Rahu occupies the Capricorn in the month of December, the health of the father, the confusion, the decision making, all these things will have some kind of an issue. I'm telling it from now onwards. So that the best time that you have as Saturn retrograde, it is also good time for you. Yes, changes. You have to work on these changes, no doubt about it, Taurus. But still, if you ask me, the time is good, progressive. You need to know. You will understand, because Jupiter is aspecting the 9th drishti of Jupiter is on Saturn. Money flow will be there. If you want to change a job, that can also brew up. You are thinking, you're contemplating change of place, change of job for you and even for your partner also. Because see, even the Mars, the 7th Lord, is having a big transition, 10 months in Cancer and in Leo. So during the Saturn retrograde time, lot of things are happening, not only about you, also about your partner. But the things are gainful. It is going towards betterment, or you are adapting something new. You will be ending up certain things, piling up your pack of things, and then leave for something new. When Saturn goes into Aries, it can be a movement towards foreign countries also. So the changes are a lot, and you will have to contemplate. It is not a very direct and fast forward change, because Lagna Lord gets debilitated. You know, your relationships are also at this point a little fragile. Yes, gains will happen. Saturn in the 11th direct, aspecting towards 10th, maybe change in job, gainful situation. Venus aspecting the 11th house, Jupiter aspecting the 11th house where the Saturn is sitting. All these will give you gains. But at the same time, your health, your partner's health, these can be compromised. These are also the challenging area. Once Rahu comes into the area of Capricorn, it is not very easy from there forward. Because Rahu sometimes behave very... 9th house is not the house of Rahu. You know, it is in the Guru's house. 9th house is originally Sagittarius, where Rahu is coming. And you know, Capricorn is not an easy sign. So once Rahu goes into Capricorn, slowly you will get certain effects where you will understand you have to upgrade your skills, or you are being, you know, for small things also you have to work very hard, because Rahu blocks the factor of the fortune. Rahu is not comfortable in the 9th house. It's a dharma trikon. So all these things will happen next year, but till you have the Saturn in the 11th house, whether retrograde, whether direct, please rectify your things and come to the position where you are able to handle much better things in a more matured way. Real estate, property, buying of things. As Venus runs into the 7th house in Libra, you may take a car, you may take a loan, or you may take a house, because Ketu is also it will move from the 4th to the 3rd house. So last moment these things can happen in this year, all because of retrograde Saturn. You have now the time to contemplate and then move forward. The retrogression of a Saturn will give you good result, but the results will take some time to show, and you need to contemplate. You need to ask yourself what I have to do. 9th aspect of Jupiter is on the Saturn, which is good. It will give you the clarity where you are running towards. Take care. Gemini ascendant, for Gemini people, the retrogration of Saturn is happening in the 10th house. So 10th house retrograde Saturn is saved by the 9th aspect of Jupiter on the Saturn. Otherwise, this is quite slow and very much, you're not getting the deserved kind of thing that you are supposed. Because Saturn retrogression is now looking a little backward, Aquarius, where Rahu is. So these kind of situations do take a bit of time to resolve things. Obviously, this month Mercury is also getting retrograde. July is quite a slow month for you. But all these things, what is happening is that Mars, your 6th lord, and your 5th lord Venus, these two are playing big roles as of now. So Mars will be going into, now it is in Taurus in the 12th house, then it will come on the Lagna. Be careful about your health. Already you have a retrograde Saturn in the 10th house. It may be making you work again the things that needs to be, again visited. Saturn's aspect is on the 12th house. When Mars comes on the Lagna, then it comes into the 2nd house. So because the 11th lord will come into the 2nd house, the gains can be okay. Jupiter is already there. Even your, because Jupiter is your 7th lord going 8th from itself, even your partner can get some betterment, some changes, but with a little bit of more challenges, and maybe they have to separate from you in some way or the other. 7th lord when goes into the 8th, if you're running that kind of a dasha, do not jump into conclusions. These things are seen. Maybe they get a promotion, they have to move out, that kind of. So changes are for all the signs. Now where it is, for you it is the 10th house mainly. Then Saturn will go into 11th house next year, and Rahu will come into the 8th house. This year end, Rahu December will reach your 8th house, and Ketu will join with Jupiter. That's why I'm saying there can be some kind of distance between the, if you're already married, or if you're not married, then this year there is a big chance that you get married. There is a very big chance, or you get a progeny at your home if you are looking for that. Because Saturn retrograde in the 10th house, it is aspecting your 7th house. And also Jupiter in the 2nd house expands the family. Some new additions to the family. It usually means sometimes marriage, children, or all this. It can be anything, any other thing also. Because Venus, your 2nd lord, will come debilitated in the 4th house. You can buy something which is of significance, and you spend up a lot. So these all things, the retrogression of Saturn is not just about retrograde this last 6 months of the year. The retrograde is making you work on different pockets of your life. So that is the reason it's a big 6 months of change for all the ascendants. For you, it is about you, the change in your 10th house area. You have to slog hard, but still, because Jupiter is aspecting, you know how to slog hard and make that thing work now. Your partner may go for a change. You can come into a different place, the 12th lord coming into the 4th house. That can be also thing. Then Rahu Ketu lastly changing its axis in the month of December in the 2nd and 8th. Lot of changes. The change can be monetary, the change can be place-wise, there can be expansion in the family, as I said. Marriage can definitely happen. You're one of the signs who is looking for that. All these things. Or even a separation, or you're married, two people are living in different places. Now they're thinking how they can move towards each other. All these things are, very much a possibility for the Gemini ascendant. Very much. Ultimately, you will this year have some kind of luck factor showering on you, because Venus will come into Libra till the end. It'll come in Virgo and then Libra and get retrograde, again come back to Libra by the end of December. But this Rahu Ketu axis change, which I'll talk later, will bring lot of sudden incidents in the 8th and 2nd house, which are both is family, right? It is your 8th house is the life after marriage. Second house is obviously your family, income, money. There can be expenses. As I told you, the 12th lord coming into the 4th house, Venus getting debilitated, you can modify things at home. You can buy something. That can also happen. Because Mars will be in Leo and Cancer for a long time, and Mars is your 6th lord. You get a loan or something like that. So these all things are there for you, Gemini ascendant, while Saturn is retrograde. The retrogression of Saturn is not easy for you, definitely. It will bring up challenges in the 10th house area. And also for your father's health, and also for certain incidents, because the 8th lord being retrograde in the 10th house. Overall, it's an okay scenario for the coming few months. Changes will brew up and you have to deal with them, especially at the professional area. You can feel a little compromised over there, not getting the exactly desired result that you could have expected. But monetarily, I don't find it's a bad time, with Jupiter exalted in the 2nd house, and also the 11th lord, though debilitated, will get a Nij Bhanga in the 2nd house running with Jupiter. Monetarily, it should be good for you, Gemini people. Take care. Cancer ascendants, the retrogression of Saturn is happening in your 9th house, and this is aspected by the 9th Drishti of Jupiter. This retrogression will make you look at things in a different way. And obviously Saturn, because it is retrograde, moving backwards, though it's an optical illusion, it is having a movement towards Aquarius, where Rahu is sitting. So new events will again churn up your life, and new events, not things that have already you have visited, you are now going towards completion. Father's health needs a proper care. Situation with the bosses will not be very good, but you will know how to handle it with the Jupiter's aspect in the 9th house. Now, one thing especially about Cancer people is that they were expecting positive changes when Jupiter moves into Pushya. You must have seen that I have not made a video of Jupiter in Pushya, because I knew that this transit is not a very easy transit at all. And how much lofty and optimism you garner from it, it will fizzle out. It is not in that way. Because Jupiter is getting combust also within this span when it is in Pushya. And Pushya will bring back lot of karmic effects. It is the storage nakshatra of Saturn. Lot of, depending on the dasha, if you are running a bad dasha, dhaya, sarasatya, lot of things, karmic things will surface and you have to end them. That is why Jupiter is good in Pushya, because it is giving you the knowledge. At least you know now what to do and how to end the things. Retrogression of Saturn, which is your 7th and 8th lord, is happening in the 9th house, where Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati is the two nakshatra, the last two nakshatra. Some endings for your partner can also happen. Maybe they were on a different kind of a journey, whatever it is, coming to an end, because then Saturn will come into the 10th house in debilitation. Do not be very worried about the debilitation, which I feel Cancer people are having a bit of jitteriness about it. But yes, it'll start some new beginnings in the 10th house area. We'll talk about that later. Now, the two planets that are important for you, that is the 10th lord, the karma lord, and the 11th lord, the Venus, the love lord. These two are having big transit this year in 2026. As Saturn is retrograde, Venus is on your Lagna now and going into Leo, then Virgo, and then Libra. Things regarding your house, regarding your property, building something new, real estate, your gains and all these things will reach a good condition when Venus is in debilitation and also Venus is in Libra. Rather, materialistically, I prefer Venus being in debilitation. Venus being in Libra, you can have some betterments in your family area where you may have been having some disputes, or especially in the August month, you have this July month, you have to be very careful when Venus is running with Ketu in Magham. Now see, Venus is your 11th house of communication, networking, and also your gains, the salary. 11th house to the second house is your accumulated thing. So when this lord is getting, Venus is getting this year retrograde from Virgo and then Libra, change of things in finances is inevitable for you. You will think about them, you will execute them, you will not be in a rush, because after all, Venus in Virgo, I do not like for relationship, but I like the practicality of Virgo Venus with finances. So that is why CA people, most of the people who are having these financial tax collection, CA, investment banking, they usually have Venus debilitated, because they see money in a very practical, responsible way. Virgo is a very methodical sign. Now when it comes to, so see, these are the two genres of Venus that will be 11th house. Your 11th house, as Saturn is retrograde, will go with some rectifications. Saturn is also aspecting the 11th house for you. It will have some disciplinary actions from Venus in monetary and relationship area, and you'll rectify those. It's not bad. Then comes the very important 10th lord, going into your 12th house. Some changes is seen, or some kind of defamation you have to be very careful with when Mars is in Gemini. When Mars reaches your Lagna, you will have some gusto to start something new. Some decisions you'll take. Why? Because Mars will get debilitated on the Lagna, but will get a Nij Bhanga from Jupiter. Jupiter will be there. So this 10 months of Mars on the Lagna and in Leo will be very profound for you professionally. 101%. It will. So use these opportunities. Now why I'm talking about all these in Saturn retrograde is not just the 7th and 8th area that is getting affected. Because the Rahu Ketu axis will also change. All these things are happening when Saturn is retrograde. The change that is brewing up is big for all the ascendants, and this Saturn retrogression is an opportunity to not only correct the mistakes of the 7th and 8th house, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your joint finances, whether sudden incidents that 8th house give, but Saturn retrograde also tells you to rectify the other areas also. The 3rd and 4th house transit of Venus, the Lagna and 2nd house transit of Mars. Very, very important time for you. And because from December, or take January 2027, as Rahu Ketu moves on the Lagna and the 7th axis, it's a very big change. Yes, 6 months you'll have the supporter of Jupiter being there in Cancer. Then it'll go to Leo. It is not about just a monetary change or a professional change. It is you as a person accepting certain things. With the Bhagya Dasha Saturn retrograde trines to the Jupiter, clearing those things away from your path so that you are able to make things available, new energies for you. So that is very important, Cancer ascendants. The transits are not easy transits, obviously, but then I cannot call it bad also. Whenever some old things in the 30 years pattern, that is Saturn completing and it will go into Aries, has to end, you have to have these kind of transits so that the ends are in the coffin and sealed. For you, it can be the 10th and 11th house factors, the profession, the bosses, the father's health, the long distance journeys, and also it can be 11th matters like the gains, the networking areas, whom you interact, whom you cut off, whom you don't want to. All these things will have a very big effect with this contemplation of Saturn retrograde. It's not a bad retrogression, but yes, a lot of changes will be coming up, and you have to, every month you have to go through these changes and make the changes look a little bit easier, which is not easy, but that is how so that you go ending chapters and beginnings of newer things. That is how the life pattern goes now. So take care, Cancer people. Leo ascendants, Leo people, since you have the Saturn retrograde in the 8th house, which is, 8th Saturn is nowhere good. It will bring impediments in your area, in your life, which will be slow. Things will be slower. July month will be very slow. Then also, because Jupiter is also now in the 12th house, there will be interventions from the skies, if I call in that way, because 12th house is a house of the divinity. You have to go for some kind of a surrender. There's no other way when Ketu is on the Lagna. And I think till Ketu is on the Lagna, you are very confused. Once Ketu comes up with Mars and Jupiter in Leo in Magha, from there the clarity will dawn on you. And you will be able to get better results from these transits that is happening. Saturn is retrograde in the 8th house, your 7th and 6th lord. Yes, there can be some ending of certain loans, because 6th lord in the 8th house can bring endings. And enmity can also end. Your health, your partner's health should be very much in the radar. You must have a check on that every time. But this retrogression of Saturn not only brings this, Mars will be in the 12th house, your 9th lord in the 12th house with Jupiter. 9th and 5th lord in the 12th house, Mars will get debilitated. Monetarily you will gain, but there are big realizations that is about to happen. And with the realizations, what will do? You will be able to release the old patterns with Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati, the last 1 year of Saturn, because from the June, more or less, we can take Saturn will be in Aries. It will come back for 4 months in Pisces, but that is okay. But mainly Saturn will go into Aries from June 2027. So old patterns, old ways of doing things, old karmic chapters, even your relationship, if you are having that kind of a problem, the 7th house matters, will see endings. Because 5th lord is also 8th from itself. If you are traumatized with certain thing, the divine intervention will come in. And you will be able to get rid of the things and come out as a new person. Because understand that Ketu will subside on the Lagna, karmic release will happen. This is a very great time if you look at it in this way. Yes, the months are not easy. I am telling you, it's not easy. But once you are through it, you will get that gusto, especially in the month of January when Jupiter, Mars will be on the Lagna. 5th, 9th lord on the Lagna. It is a Raj Yoga. And also Mars will be in your 12th house and Lagna for 10 months. So chapters have to close. This is the first thing. You have to heal. This is the second thing. If you are stubborn in that, Mars debilitated will make you do that, will crying hook and crook, you will heal. Because Mars now has to come on to Leo and make you the most dynamic person. Jupiter will also enter Leo next year. This year for just 3 months, November, December, January. But in all the things, all the pending things that is remaining in the 6 months needs to be cleared for new energy to get in your life. This is the scenario. Your 10th lord going into the Lagna at this moment of time, and then into Virgo and then Libra. It will bring money. Venus in debilitation in the 2nd house brings money. Mars in Pushya Nakshatra brings money. Monetarily, the expenses can also be there. The money will also come unless the dasha is too bad. See, even 11th Jupiter, many people said that they are financially suffering. That is because of the dasha. Life is all about dasha. You feel good at a time, you feel bad, you feel high. People say, I have done these things. When they go, the down circle comes, they feel God has punished them. So this is how the dasha is. Life is all about dasha. The transits are just to aid the dasha to give the results, the parcel, the delivery boy, as we say. So a lot of clearings are waiting for you. Not an easy time, Leo. I'll not say it's not easy to do away with things, but you have to. Just keep and remind yourself that in the month of January, Jupiter, Mars without Ketu will be on the Lagna. Yes, Saturn will be in the 8th house. but not many days. Saturn from June onwards, it will come to your 9th house. Okay, so this pattern you have to understand, and you have to, in this retrograde Saturn, which is looking towards your 7th house. Now some important things about the partner can happen in this retrograde Saturn. That will aid. Aquarius will aid actually. Rahu is there, and Saturn is, as it is going backwards, it is having an effect on Aquarius. Partner, if you are running a good partnership, it will aid. If you are running something bad, it can just be cut off, because the 7th lord is going to the 8th and it is going towards Revati. And if you both are, suppose in a partnership where you are looking for better days, some karmic cycles ending you and your partners, that will also end. Let Ketu move from the Lagna in December. Much relief you will get. So the next 6 months are making you move towards better days, much growth oriented days. I'll say stagnancy will be less. But be very careful with the Mars-Jupiter conjunction in Pushya in the 12th house or in Cancer. Heal yourself. If you have to cry, if you have to let loose, do in whatever factors it can be. Relationships, job, your status, your money. Don't squander the money. Heal yourself. This is the time of healing. And come back from the January afresh. Take care. Virgo ascendants. Virgo people, the transit of retrograde transit of Saturn is happening in your 7th house. 7th house Saturn will have an effect on the 6th house also, as it is retrograde. Jupiter is having the 9th aspect on this Saturn, aiding you towards relationship. If you had been looking for marriage partners, because it is the 5th lord in the 9th, maybe some affairs is there, it's not culminating. This time it will culminate with certain difficulties, but it will happen. Also, because Mars will be your 8th lord, it will be a big transit of Mars in the Cancer and also in Leo. So this is also a change that will bring up. This is the 3rd lord, right? 3rd lord. And this will bring up different kind of changes in the area of your life. Mars is also your, it is your 8th lord. Now, so see, when the 8th lord and the 7th lord Jupiter goes into the 11th house, then some kind of a marriage thing gains from legacies, from in-laws, from starting a new thing. So that kind of a thing is the first thing that is looking for you, Virgo people. Second thing is that Libra and Virgo is very active. The Lagna, when this July you will have this transit of Venus Ketu in the 12th house. Be very careful with your relationship and keep it in a safe place as of now. Then Venus will come on the Lagna getting debilitated. Venus will have an aspect on the Saturn. Jupiter will have an aspect on the Saturn later. All these things when Saturn is retrograde. I'm talking for the next 6 months during the retrogression of Saturn. So do not judge your relationships too much. Venus on the Lagna debilitated brings money, because it is your 2nd lord on the Lagna debilitated. It gives you money. Jupiter in the 11th house. But problem with Venus debilitated on the Lagna, it makes you judge things. Do not judge too much. Then Venus moves into Libra 2nd house. So these are the transits which brings challenges at the same time. If you mitigate through the challenge, you create better things. Especially Venus is a yoga karak planet for you. I mean, it is the 9th lord and the 2nd lord. It's neutral. So the 9th lord reaching the Lagna will give some kind of, things that you have to understand, recognize about your relationships, about your family, about your monetary things. Venus on the Lagna obviously triggers these all things about your personality, how you change your personality, because Virgo is a judgmental sign. You cannot always judge. Venus gets debilitated in Virgo because you cannot judge a relationship. It is monetarily good in Virgo, Venus. Many financial people will have this. CA, investment bankers and all these, they have Virgo, Venus in Virgo in their chart. So this is a very important year for partnership, extending the family, and Mercury will, as it is, Mercury's transit is rather more or less the same, getting 3 times retrograde. So I don't think you will do bad with professionally or financially. It is more of a inventing yourself and to be less judgmental, and also it is a monetary thing and it's a relationship kind of a thing. Obviously, if you Rahu will come into the 5th house and Ketu in the 11th house. A change of axis of Rahu Ketu can bring new ideas, because 5th house is a house of ideas. These things will happen, but we'll talk about that later. As of now, the 7th house looks very important with retrograde Saturn. 7th house matters, partnership, foreign connections, also marriage related things. 11th Jupiter aspecting this house is also very, very important. For Libra Venus, the 2nd house Venus, it is good monetarily. Lagna Venus is also good. This year Venus will go retrograde, back and forth in Virgo and Libra. All the things happening when Saturn is retrograde. All pending things are taking a new turn, and then Saturn will go direct, and from December, mid of December 15 onwards, you'll get a direct Saturn. A new journey begins. I mean, you have to, because Saturn is now in Uttar Bhadrapada Revati. Certain things will be taken care of, and certain endings will be there, because new beginnings will be coming with Saturn in Virgo, in Aries, in the 8th house. So this is the overall scenario of the 6 months. It is a good, I'll not say it's bad. 11th Jupiter, Venus in the 1st and the 2nd house, Mars then changing sign from the 4th house, from the 11th house to the 12th house. Now see, one precaution about you is that there will be a Ketu, Jupiter and Mars combination this November in the 12th house. So this is the 7th lord and the 8th lord going into the 12th house, and then again it will retrograde back to the 11th house. As I told you, relationship is a big thing that will trigger your life this next 6 months, by Saturn, by Jupiter, by Libra, and also by Mars, which is your 8th lord. Take care, Virgo people. Otherwise, it is a good transit. Professionally and monetarily, I feel it's a good transit. Relationship wise, there will be certain challenges, and you'll overcome the challenge to make it better.